but you still run a business, all right? Mm-hmm. How do you do all of that? Keep a balance.
You know, I don't really believe that there is a such thing as balance when it comes to all of those things.
Okay.
There's a such thing as prioritizing. That's kind of what I do.
So you can prioritize, but what happens when there are incidentals like, bam, something happens which throws off?
That becomes the priority. Mm-hmm. Like when my kids get sick,
that in.
Weave it in. We've got 50 things going on right now that we're trying to accomplish, and a newborn, and 3 other children.
Okay.
That's not gonna change. The kids ain't going nowhere, so that disruption is not going to go anywhere.
What if the disruption is between you and Martell? Then what?
Well, fortunately, right now we don't have any just many unresolved issues with just me and Martell.
Child, lies you tell, okay? Honey, this was back when Melody, honey, was struggling with all that cognitive dissonance, honey, that Hook-headed was putting her through. What is up, y'all? It's your girl, Brand New, and honey, I am back in the building. This time, honey, I'm back with a Love and Marriage Huntsville Extra, honey. This time, honey, we are going to be talking about Miss Melody Cherie and this therapy session that she did a while back with Dr. Francis. So, you guys, I'm going to continue to play that audio because it explains so much, okay, of Melody's personality.
I would say our issue right now is the fact that I'm doing a lot. As my husband likes to say, that I ain't operating at 100% on anything because I'm doing so much. And I don't think about it. I just do.
That's a problem, guys. You have to take time to think about what you are doing. I am all for Melody being ambitious. But it just seems like there's always something that's hurting her, right? That makes her feel vulnerable. Now, at this time, I think she had just had Sugar Mama. And, you know, she had a lot on her plate that she wanted to accomplish. I think she was working on that play. Y'all remember that play that I played for you all that Martell, he didn't really want her to be a part of because it was reminiscent of all that cheating and lying his ass was doing, right? But yeah, Melody is somebody that works. And that's a problem because you have to take the time to relax. And a lot of people will say, well, she can't do that. And, she shouldn't put her dreams on hold. Like, if you are kind of talking like that, you can't really enter into this conversation because that's not what I'm talking about. Okay? You got to be present. You got to be mindful. And I think a lot of people are busy like that, so they can avoid certain things that maybe they don't want to deal with in their life, right? We see some stuff on the show right now where Melody is bringing up all this old stuff with Martell and the whole Melnica situation. And I'm just like, girl, you should be focusing on you. Why is you bringing up who he done slept with? We know, look, he a hoe. We know he a hoe. How do you know? Because his behavior has told us so. Okay, he's a hoe. We know that. Now that's just going to get Martell riled up, Melnica riled up. Now you going to be fighting with them when you could be making love to a new boo, honey, okay? Or you could be going out on dates. You could be resting, okay? So I get it, you guys. It's a show. The show is built off of drama. But girl, get out of survival mode. You've made it. You really have. And yes, you could continue to strive for your goals, but it's something about this show, you guys, that I feel will be Melody's downfall if they don't change the trajectory of the show. Okay?
That's it.
I how'd you get to be like that?
Do y'all hear how he talking to her? How did you get to be like that? And you want to know why he said that to her like that? Because he knows that that's a problem. Okay? He knows that that's not the real her. She's still in survival mode.
I mean, I was that, or still am, just that person in the family that is expected to succeed and expected to be a positive representative of the family. Since elementary, middle school, having to go sing, playing the keyboard for church, being in the praise and worship team, still making straight A's in school, while being president of 5 organizations at a time, while working a job. Those are things I'm just doing what I've always done. I've had support from my mom, aunts, uncles, my grandfather, my great-grandmother. I loved making them proud. So, yeah. Now, you know, my father and I didn't have a relationship as I was growing up.
You know, I was wondering when you were going to mention your father.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't really start spending time with him until I was 16. And of course, even then, it wasn't like it was a lot of times like we were living in the same household. But that's when I still first started spending time with him. My mom, she used to make me call him when I was a kid, you know, and I kind of got tired of calling because I'm like, he ain't gonna answer no way what I'm calling for.
What did it feel like?
Y'all hear what he said to her? What did it feel like? Because you around here bouncing, doing this and doing that. And so many parents, they do that with their children. And I think they mean well. You know, they want productive, ambitious children, right? That knows how to be on their grind. But also children need to learn how to relax. They need to learn how to reflect, sit back. Okay, take in the moment. That way you can really be centered and make the best decisions. Because when you're going, you engage in making what? Temporary choices that could cost you a lifetime. Okay? So y'all notice as she talks about her father, it kind of reminds me of like her dynamic with Martell, that rejection, and still trying to prove to him, oh, I'm not sucking your dick enough. Okay, well, let me do this. Let me do more of that. Let me do more of this to please you. Now, of course, she didn't know she was dealing with a damn narcissist, but you know, all of this stuff, you guys, it really came full circle, especially with that situation with Martell. And a lot of women do that with their fathers. They didn't have that relationship with their father. So maybe in a relationship with a man, they are, you know, just putting up with the most because you didn't really know what to expect. You didn't have that relationship with your father that, you know, is supposed to instill values into you, that is supposed to pursue you. Did you hear her mother? See, that's wrong. Her mother had her calling her father, and she probably didn't mean nothing by it, but she's a child. He should be reaching out to her. Okay? So that rejection, that hurt, that pain, that caused Melody to succeed even more. And, you know, well, I'll just busy myself with work and, you know, I'll just go on to the next thing. And all the while she's hurt. She's not really dealing with her emotions. She's just going to the next thing. That way she could feel some success, right? And keep herself going. But we have to take the time to feel. I struggled with it myself, like really taking the time to just be, to just feel, you know?
For him not to answer, what was that like for, because you're...
She's crying. See, this is the real Melody, her vulnerable state.
I used to feel really sad about it, you know. I really didn't understand because I knew and felt like I wasn't a bad little girl, you know what I'm saying? And I was smart. I was always making good grades. I was doing positive things. So I really didn't understand why. And so,
Did y'all catch that? Did you catch it? Y'all didn't catch what she just said. I was always doing positive things. You shouldn't have to do any damn thing to be loved by your father. Okay? It's all in her programming. If I do more, I'll be loved more. And then you have a lot of people that don't like her. And they have, the right not to like her. There's people that, they're haters of Mel and, they don't respect her grind and her hustle. But for the people that, genuinely don't like her, they feel like they are getting an act. That's what a lot of that is. She's not being herself. She's just doing, and then you like her because of all of what she's doing. When I talk to certain people about Melody, they always tell me what she done did. And we know she has did some amazing things. I think she's an amazing woman. Period. Having 4 kids and bouncing back and, just being very agile, right? When dealing with life's circumstances and situations. But yeah, this is somebody that needs to learn how to be. And that may take a while for her because we always talk about what we need to learn, right? But we never talk about what we need to unlearn.
So I didn't like whenever my mother would make me call. So.
And if he didn't answer, there's a track record of not answering. Mm-hmm. It's like attempting something over and over and over again and failing and failing and failing.
And that's what happened with her and Martell. Okay? Because every time she took him back, he acted worse and treated her worse. And that is not her fault. That's on him and how he chose to behave with her. But that situation with Martell, it really, it broke her spirit. And that's why I'm so against, you guys, her arguing with him just for this show. And I get it's a show and, it started out a certain way. I get it. But now that you divorced from him, now it's time for you to just be. To live your best life. If that's working on a new project over here, over there, that's fine. But I want to see Melody relaxed, hanging out with the homegirls, going to a strip club, maybe going out on a date. And nobody is saying she has to get married again or get into a new serious relationship, but just something new, right? But I think Melody is scared of that, guys. What do you guys think? A lot of this type of behavior is a defense mechanism.
Continuously, right? No one wants to say. Is there like a piece of you that success helps you to recover from? And when you succeed out here, you can say, yeah, I may be broken here, but look what I've done.
What did I tell y'all?
How would you respond to that?
As soon as I had my baby, I was right back to work. My foot is on the gas, honey.
You need to slow down.
You didn't just hear me say my foot on the gas.
I pushed her to do just so many great things. She still would be teaching if I wasn't there pushing her.
But all that is a part of me. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be in business. I wanted to be a wife. I think all of that is me. I'm not successful to make my daddy proud. I'm not.
Back again, she's in defense mode. When she was vulnerable, she was giving us her real self, right? Uncensored. She was being transparent, vulnerable, honest. But you could hear it back in her tone, being, she's back in ego mode.
successful because Martell continued to push me. I wake up every damn day and make it happen for myself. I may want to work on my relationship with my father, but I'm not going to stop going after my goals, start feeling sorry for myself. Like, that ain't Melody Hope.
All of those things is what Melody wants to do, but all of those things could make you unavailable to your children. And then, when they get to be an adult, they're going to tell you the same story that you tell your dad.
Gotcha. All right, Dr. Francis, well, thank you so much for this session today.
Y'all hear how she dismissed him? Somebody that's present would have sat there while that man was talking to them. They wouldn't have rushed off to the next thing. That's what I'm telling y'all about her. So yes, she has changed, but certain shit has not changed.
It was nice. I enjoyed it. That's enough for today. I'm not about to cry anymore today. So
you're not going to cry anymore today?
No.
She didn't want to hear no more. Okay, so let me bring up this man. I think he broke down doing versus being quite well.
You know, Pastor Rick Warren said, "We are human beings, not human doings." And yet sometimes I feel like when I wake up in the morning, we get caught up in all the things that we have to do and the people we think we're supposed to be, with the responsibilities and the chores and the jobs and this whole act about who we're supposed to be in the world and in society. And sometimes we forget that in the midst of this 9-to-5 job, of sitting in traffic, in a commute, in coming home and watching a show and dulling the senses and being more unconscious, that actually sometimes the most fulfilling life doesn't come through productivity. Sometimes the most productive and fulfilling life comes from just being. Sometimes the most beautiful days in life are the ones where we're just sitting in a cafe, drinking coffee, thinking about life, not striving, not going after anything, not crossing things off our to-do list, not trying to be productive, just existing.
All right, so there's another man that talks about being versus doing. Let's check out what he has to say, guys.
Problems is great, but not when it's done to the exclusion of just being with someone's inner subjective experience. And this is the key point you're raising. And this is really getting into the right-left brain stuff. The right brain really likes to just be with what is, and that attunement between two people is one of the most important experiences of joining any of us can have ever. So you can say you're not doing anything, but actually you're doing something by just being together, right? And that is something a lot of people miss because they feel so anxious inside. They want to solve a problem. They don't realize the fundamental connection that needs to be set up is not about looking for ways of solving a problem. It's just about being with a reality. Now, what does that mean on a deep, deep level? And this is a right hemisphere, left hemisphere example. If I don't take the time to align myself with your right hemisphere, all I'm going to do is do what the entire rest of the world does, which is in the left brain, it's always looking outward. So, for example, this is going to get a little complicated with anatomy, but for a baby searches the world with the right hand, which goes straight to the left brain. But the baby soothes herself with the left hand, which is going right to the right brain. So the way to, if you want to just get a gist of the differences, besides the idea that the left is looking at the text and the right is looking at the context, and the left is like the letter of the law, whereas the right is the spirit of the law. The right hemisphere is really about interiority. It really looks at the interior of the self and the interior of other people. It looks for the subjective side of the mind, is a right brain dominant thing. The left is really all about looking outward, solving problems, sending language out, figuring out what am I supposed to display to the outside world. There are things called social display rules. What am I supposed to really do to be accepted by other people? That's all left brain stuff. So in these ways, parents are so busy managing their children's doings and calendars and everything like that, that they miss this opportunity for being with their child. And it's very, very sad. The thing I'm really concerned about is when you add busy parenting that are focused on doing and calendars and managing behavior, where they're not actually being with the mind of the child. Then you launch kids into schools which are unbelievably pressured to get kids ready for this incredibly competitive, me, do better. Then they're on the internet, which is constantly an externally focused set of stimuli. We're raising a generation that actually isn't developing the skills of looking inward, which is where kindness comes from. And it's where resilience comes from. It's where the permission to know there's a vulnerable part of myself that has a longing that's not met, like you just told me there. The way we really allow that vulnerability to be present, so for kindness to be there, is to actually be able to look inward at ourselves and look inward at others. So at a very, very basic level, this is how we see the mind. I call it mind sight. And there's a way of living where you don't see the mind, and there's a way of living where you do.
Okay, guys, I want to end the video with this. This is a comment that I saw under that clip of Melody and Dr. Francis talking. So the person says, I wonder why Melody's family seemingly expected her to do so much. Was it because they knew she would need to be self-reliant because her biological father didn't make himself available to her to actually be there for her? Did they project their expectations of her mom onto her, being that her mom had gotten pregnant out of wedlock her first year in college? So then it became Melody's responsibility to make them proud. What a burden to put on baby girl. Wow. Acceptance came by way of her doing good instead of simply being good. God created her to be. I wonder if in her young mind at the time, if love was based on performance rather than just because that's when she was praised and given attention. I thought that was powerful. I really love that person's observation. I felt like that was very valid. So whoever wrote that was amazing, honey. Miss Robinson is very impressed, honey. Okay. That was good. I think that wrapped up everything. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know, did you understand where I was coming from as it pertains to Melody? Let me know what you thought about the video. Don't forget, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. I am your girl, brand new, and I will check you guys out in the next video.